Components Part 2. In the previous video we talked about how to use a component tool, but notice that we have a down arrow, which means we got some other options under this tool. So we were using, to insert the cabinets and plumbing fixtures through this one, place a component. Now we're going to talk about the model in place. This is, you can create components, custom shape components of whatever you want to do by using this tool. So when we invoke this tool, you're going to get this pop-up window. It's going to ask you what family category do you want to place or create this component in. So you can choose from any one of these categories to put them in. And think of it as layers. In AutoCAD we have layers. Layers for cabinets, layers for doors, layers for windows, so we can differentiate between different components. It's similar with the family categories. So in this case I'm going to use casework because I'm going to create a piece of furniture so we can study how to use these tools. So we're going to use casework, and after that it's going to ask you to name your component. What do you want to call this component? So I'm just going to call it table 1, and we're going to create a table. Okay, when we do that, so we did a model in place component, and then we got the category window and then the name window. After that we get a new ribbon with different tools to use from. This is under the create tab. We have all these. So the first one we're going to talk about is extrusion. Okay, the way this one works, we're going to click on there. We get our familiar sketch mode ribbon, okay, with the tools and the drawing shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm just going to do something small, like about right there, 3'6" by 5 foot rectangle. What I'm going to create is the tabletop, okay, and right here when I created my rectangle, in my properties I get these two fields right here, extrusion start and end. Since we're creating this tabletop in the level 1 view, our working plane is set to the floor level. If I go to my 3D view here, and if I show my, let me get out of this, there we go. My working plane is the floor level. So when I'm creating this tabletop, I need to tell it how high from the floor level I'm going to extrude this shape. So I'm going to tell it the extrusion end, or the top of the table, is going to be at 3 feet. The extrusion start is going to be 2 foot 10 inches from the floor. So I'm going to hit apply and then hit check. Okay, so it created my shape, and let me go back and show you right there. That's what I wanted to show you. My working plane is the floor level, and I told it that I wanted to extrude this shape, the extrusion start right here on the bottom, 2 foot 10 inches above my level, and the extrusion end at 3 foot above that level. Okay, so that's what I have. Right, let's go back to the level view, and I'm going to go back to my create tab, and I'm going to go use again my extrusion tool to create the legs. So I'm going to use again my rectangle, and I'm just going to eyeball it, some shape about right there, that corner. But this time I'm going to tell it I want this extrusion to start at 0, right at the floor, and then to go up 2 foot 10 inches from the floor. And I hit apply, and then I hit OK. And if I look at it, from my floor level it created that extrusion from 0, okay, from 0 to 2 foot 10 inches, which is the underside of my tabletop. Let's look at it in shaded view. There we go. Okay, so I'm just using extrusion. And notice that I'm still in the edit mode of the components. If I hit finish, then both of these is one component. If I want to go back and add some more, I select that component and notice that I get this option to edit in place. I click on that and now I have two separate components. So I'm in the edit mode and I'm going to go back to level 1 and I'm going to change my display to wireframe. So I see my leg there and I'm going to mirror it to the other side. And then I hit finish and I look at it in 3D. And now I have my leg on the other side. So again, I got one component that's made up of subcomponents. And if I want to edit the subcomponents, I need to edit the component that I have. So go back and edit in place. So we created the tabletop and the legs with the extrusion tool right here. Before I continue, I want to talk about materials. Let's say I wanted the tabletop to be a specific color. I need to assign it a material right here. I need to select the component first, and then under material, right now it's blank. If I click in here, I'm going to get this pop-up window. And here's where I select my materials. Depending on the template file that you use to create your project, you're going to have several materials already built in. So let's say I wanted to choose something from in here. I don't know, a wood color. And so I select that one and I hit OK. And notice that it lists this right here on the material. And then I say finish. And the color changes. Notice that right now I'm in the shaded display. So it looks that color. But if I change this to realistic, then I get my actual material color. Let's change the color of the legs to something else. I need to select my whole component, edit in place, and then select the actual component that I want to attach a material to. So I'm going to go in here, and again I can choose from any predefined materials, or I'm going to show you how to create a new one. Down here in this icon, click on the down arrow and we have the option to create a new material. So I click on this one, and then I have these three tabs that are pretty default or blank options. So first thing I'm going to do after I create a material is name my material. So I'm going to call this legs. And then I go to this tab. The graphics tab, whatever color you choose in here is going to be shown in the shaded view display. Okay, so let's say I'm going to choose I don't know, some purple color right there, and then I hit OK, and notice that I got my legs selected, and I hit OK. Notice that it did not change color. That's because I'm in the realistic view. If I go back to shaded view, it changed that color to the color that we wanted. So let's look at these parameters again. Let's go back and edit in place and select that leg and see what else we can do with this. Okay, so we're under the legs material that we created right here. Like I told you, the graphics tab, whatever color we have in here, that is shown in the shaded view right there. And then we have a third tab, appearance. This tab is for the realistic view right over here. So whatever color we select here is going to show it on this view, on the realistic view. So let's say, I don't know, I want to show, in that view I want to show it color blue for whatever reason. So let's try that. Apply and then hit OK. So right now I'm in shaded view, it's purple, but if I go to the realistic view, it goes to blue because that's what I told that I wanted. Okay, let's look at a couple of more options that we have on the materials here. Go back to my legs. Now let's say I don't want to assign two different colors, I want to assign the exact same color. Well, the easiest thing to do is go back to the graphics view and check this box. It's going to say use the render appearance. So whatever settings I have on this is going to show over here. So I'm going to click on that box, and the exact same color I had selected on this tab is going to use for the graphics tab. So I want to go back to, I don't know, some purple color. But now, in addition to that color, I also want to select an actual realistic material. So I'm going to do that here by clicking on this white box. Here I can choose any graphic image that I have available and apply that material to that legs component. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some materials I already have, and let's say I'm going to look for my metals. Now these materials are my own personal materials. These do not come with Revit, so just bear with me and I'll explain a little bit later. So I'm going to look for some metals, and in my case I have, you know, all these different types of metals. So I'm going to use a brushed metal like that, and then hit apply and then OK. So if I look at it in realistic view, my leg becomes a shiny metal material. So let's say I want that same material on this leg. All I have to do is assign that material we just created, the legs, double click, it's selected, and now it's applied to that leg as well. So I'm going to finish my model, and so far I have my tabletop and legs that I created with the extrusion tool. And again, that was using the components, model in place, and then I used the extrusion tool to create these shapes. One more thing I want to do is once these shapes are created, you can always edit it, the shape or other things. For example, I'm going to go back and edit in place this table. Let me go to the plan view. So I want to edit that tabletop. So I'm going to create an extrusion, or edit the extrusion. Let's say I don't want a rectangle. Let's say I want a rounded edge. So I delete that shape and then I hit OK, and now I have that shape for my tabletop. Go back, one more thing that I want to show you. To edit this extrusion one more time, and let's say I wanted a hole somewhere in my tabletop for whatever reason. So I create any shape, any one of these will work, hit OK, finish my model, and if I look at it in 3D, now I have a hole in my extrusion. So that's another thing that you can do. After you create these, you can always edit the shape or add to the component. We'll continue with other options, other tools in the next video.